Now y'all know good and damn well Annie and Smoke were not no damn aunt and nephew. It weren't no damn mother and son or whatever the hell you thought. You knew good and damn well Annie and Smoke were husband and wife. You could tell by the chemistry. You could tell by the nature of their conversation that they were lovers. They were husband and wife. It's funny that I notice on social media a lot of people had issues with Annie and Smoke's relationship as opposed to Mary and Stack's relationship in Sinners. And I'm going to tell you pretty much what that's all about. It's colorism. Colorism at its worst, okay? As you see, Sinners is it. Sinners is definitely breaking the box office. Okay, Ryan Coogler again. Here's my Sinners thing. Again, I've become obsessed with it. I watch it over and over and over again. You know, but I noticed people have been doing that online, talking about that they don't believe Annie and Smoke were really in a relationship. They compared her looks to that of a mammy, which she did come off being motherly. But it's clear as hell you could hear the microaggression. People had an issue with Annie and Smoke's relationship as opposed to Mary and Stack's relationship. And it's simple as that. And most of this came from other black people's mouths. Even my team lead at work made a comment on that. And she said, ugh. And she's a chocolate woman and made this comment. Why they had to put her with him? And I said, why not? What's wrong with Wumi Masaku? And I remember Wumi Masaku back on Lovecraft Country. She did a damn splendid job on that show. I said, why? She said, why they had to be a couple? I said, why not? Why not? I said, are you saying Mary and Stack were good together? I said, what? I said that woman have a lot of body, and I said she's beautiful. She got too much body. She too big. So see, even though my maybe I'm gonna try to give my team lead the benefit of the doubt, but my team lead has had an instance where she has made such comments like this, and it's obvious with that kind of reaction. You know what it is. The reaction is that if you are a dark-skinned, full-figured woman, you're not to be seen as feminine. You're not to be seen as beautiful. Okay? You're not to be seen as sexually desirable. You know? And that's what it was. I mean, I knew from day on when I saw that film, when I saw Smoke driving up to the shack where Annie had her hoodoo shop. I saw her walk out. First thing I saw was her chest more than anything, and I said, "Oh my Lord!" I said, "That's a robust." At first, it took me a minute to figure out who she was, and I'm like, Lovecraft Country. I was addicted to Lovecraft Country. Love me some Lovecraft Country. I said, that's who it is. It's her. It's her. Oh my God. You know? And even my mom said that. Oh my God, she got some knockers on her. And I'm like, yeah. So that's why I said robust. But I didn't think for not one set that was his auntie or his mama. I don't know what the hell's wrong with y'all black folks. Sit up here with your self-hating, colorist and texturist and featurist ways to sit up here and have a problem with that relationship, but you ain't had a problem with Mary and Stack's relationship. What is it? Mary and Stack. Mary was white passing. Okay? You might as well say she was an octoroon. What is it that they said on Key and Peele? Good afternoon, my octoroon. She was an octoroon. And an octoroon is what you called someone back then, a white person who was 1/8 black. And that was Mary. And come to find out, I knew this even before about the actress Hailee Steinfeld. Hailee Steinfeld, in actuality, is 1/8 black. She has her mother is mixed. Her mother's mixed with white, black, and Filipino descent. And her father is a white man of Ashkani Jewish descent. So pretty much, Haley Steinfeld embodied Mary because that's who she is in real life. But people had no issues with that. People were celebrating Mary and Stack's relationship. And we know why, because it was because of a light-skinned woman, light-skinned, white passing woman. And what the problem is, many people, especially in the Black community, took issue with the likes of Michael B. Jordan having a love interest like Wunmi Mosaku, who portrayed Annie, as if they thought Wunmi Mosaku didn't measure up to playing a love interest with the likes of Michael B. Jordan. And I personally didn't see a problem with it. I didn't see an issue with it, because why not? What is wrong with her? Why did you prefer him with Haley Steinfeld over Wunmi Mosaku? No, I don't mean to body shame, but I look at Haley Steinfeld and I'm like, this little stick. She definitely didn't have it going on. Definitely needed some more meat on her ass. I said, what you want, Michael B. Jordan to be with a stick? Not with a woman who has some curves, some humps, some lumps? More cushion for the pushing? Did you see that love scene between them? I'm gonna tell you something. When I saw that love scene with him and Annie in the Hoodoo House, I said, oh my God, I felt that. I said, ooh, I felt that. I said, I felt that. She was speaking in her Creole. And many people don't realize that Annie was a Creole. Many people took issue with it because they didn't think she fit the facade of what a Creole woman. There are plenty of Creoles down in Louisiana that look like her. Was a Creole hoodoo. Black people were complaining about that. She's Creole. What I learned too, the difference between Creoles down in Louisiana, they had Creole with a capital C. Those are the lighter Creoles that kind of look like how Mary looked. And even though Mary is not a Creole, but they had her phenotype with the very fair white passing skin, the hair texture. Those were Creoles with the capital C. Or for a better term, Creoles like Beyonce's mother, Tina. Even though Tina Knowles is not white passing, but she's a lighter skinned woman. Then you had Creoles that look like me, or who look like Annie, and those were the Creoles with the lowercase c. They were Creoles with the small c, or lowercase. Big C Creoles is small c Creole. But anyway, yes, that's what the problem is. And I've noticed that with Annie, this trope that follows her is the strong Black woman trope. It was also the mammy trope, because she came off as comforted, as being a protector, with the root work she was doing to protect Smoke and Stack while they were out hustling and bustling Chicago gangways. She had this homely, natural look. And I guess people didn't appeal to that or think that was good enough for Michael B. Jordan. But I think y'all need to get over it. Y'all need to get over it. You need to stop acting as if dark-skinned women are not beautiful. Plenty of them are beautiful. Need to stop acting as if dark-skinned Black women cannot be love interest and cannot be lead interest, especially a full figure. And I'm speaking as a woman who is on the full figure. That y'all need to stop doing it. Because, again, the media has always put out light, damn near white is better. It's the best, which is why more people were favoring Mary and Stack's relationship. But here's the thing with Mary and Stack. Mary and Stack's relationship was just as toxic. She's the one that started the whole shit. She's the one that started the whole shit with this vampire crap. Her. But people, you gave her the white savior complex, but it's like, what did she say? She started the shit. If anything, she was the goddamn enemy. Enemy in disguise. I mean, her ass should have never been let in that damn juke. Should have just took her ass back to Arkansas and get the hell up out of it. I don't know. That's just my thing. But back to talking about Mary. Mary is what you consider the tragic mulatto, or the pretty mulatto, the racially ambiguous one, who's always looked at as being feminine, as being beautiful, as being the standard, as opposed to Annie. She's the mammy. She's natural. So that was what people had. But for y'all to sit up here and insinuate that the likes of Michael B. Jordan could not authentically, his character anyway, could not authentically be in love with a natural black woman like Annie, it's sickening. It's sickening that a lot of people in our community think, I think it was beautiful. I think both women, Annie, Smoke, Mary, and Stack, matched each other. Annie was calm, level-headed, cool. She thought ahead like Smoke. Impulsive, off the chart, crazy, daring was Mary, and that matched Stack's silly ass, crazy, out of pocket ass, hothead behavior. So both women match their lovers. Seriously, I'm pissed off at y'all for saying, that woman was his aunt or his mother. No, the hell she was not. Okay? You criticized it because you thought she was a mammy figure. You thought with the natural hair and the full figure and the voluptuousness was a damn mammy. Okay? That's why many of y'all prioritize Mary and Stack's relationship over Smoke and Annie's relationship. Because you just could not. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this about a lot of people in my community, black people. A lot of black people don't like seeing that. They don't like seeing a dark-skinned black woman as a love interest, or seen as desirable, or seen as sexy. That you think automatically, and I'm not saying all black people think that way, because no, all don't. But there's a lot of colorism that still takes place in the black community, where having dark skin and having homogeneous features is looked at as unattractive. It's looked at as not desirable, which is why many people put Mary, because I obviously see people going on thirsting about Haley Steinfeld. Ooh, especially when they found out she was 1/8 black, thirsting about all of that. And then I've seen some people thirst over Wunmi Mosaku, but not as much as how they were doing Haley Steinfeld. Okay, but you know what it is. But I will say that both relationships were authentic, I guess, because they love their significant others. But Stack and Mary's relationship was very toxic. So was Smoke and Annie's. Smoke left his wife and left Mississippi due to the death of their daughter to become a goddamn criminal, along with his damn crazy, erratic, stupid ass brother. Okay? And we know the reason why Stack did what he did with Mary was because technically Stack and Mary's relationship was very dangerous, because she was perceived to be white. It was white passing. And her dealing with a black man could have got both of them killed. And there have been many relationships like that. Like, I remember there was a movie, Black and Tan, that starred, I think it starred Duke Ellington and Freddie Washington. Freddie Washington starred in the black and white version of Imitation of Life. Freddie Washington in real life was a white passing black woman. And between her and Duke Ellington in that movie, they had to put makeup on her to make her look darker, because it looked like in an intimate scene, it was a scene between a white woman and a black man, when there in fact were two black people. but because she was so white passing, people had a hard time seeing that. So they had to put darker makeup on to make her look more, more like us. Okay. So yeah, it was a very dangerous relationship between. But yes, I love that love scene between Annie and Smoke. You felt that. She was speaking in her Creole. She was rubbing up on dude's crotch. You could see his hard on the side. He was ready. He missed that. Oh yes, he missed those cushions. He missed that. You just saw that. Oh my God, I felt that. I said, oh my God. Am I feeling that? I said, yes. I felt that. I sat and felt that. That wasn't a sex scene. That was a love making scene. I said you can feel the passion. You feel the desire. And I respect that about Ryan Coogler was that he was displaying black love. And he displayed very beautiful black women in his movie. And he didn't just go by, what society considers, beautiful. He did his own thing. And I think that's why this movie is getting mad props and mad respect like it is. So I say shout out. I'm looking up. It's starting to get dark. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. He did a fascinating job. Well, yeah, that's just my two cents. Stop playing. Annie and Smoke were husband and wife. They were not aunt and nephew. Y'all need to get out of that. Y'all need to stop acting as if dark skin is not beautiful. Dark skin is not good. Stop acting as if our African features are bad. What is it Malcolm X said? Who taught you to hate yourself? That you have a problem. That you have a problem with Michael B. Jordan kissing up on Wumi Masaka. Who taught you to hate yourself? Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Ciao, Bella.